The lights were off. The only sound was the faint hum of the furnace. The little boy tiptoed down into the basement, clutching his flashlight, one step at a time. Step, step, step. His heart pounded. He raised his flashlight. It shone directly onto the laundry basket, and he saw his mom's frilly pink underwear. And he hasn't been able to forget that sight. He's over 40 and it still haunts his nightmares to this very day. Pretty scary, right? And no, that wasn't me. This is a fictional scary story. Definitely not me with the nightmares. Boo! No. It's me, TechDweeb. Sorry if I scared you just now. I can't help being extra spooky. It's October, which means it's Halloween, the spooky season, my absolute favorite holiday. Because for once, whenever I leave fake cobwebs all over my mom's basement, people think it's decorations instead of just poor housekeeping. This is the time when we carve pumpkins, eat way too much sugar, even more than usual if you can believe that, and most importantly, play retro games that give us the creeps. Today we're looking at 10 super spooky retro games to play to get you in the mood to have a frightful good time. I'm not allowed to trick or treat anymore. My mom says the neighbors asked her to tell me to stop, but at least I can still get in the Halloween spirit here on YouTube. So grab your flashlight, turn off the lights, and get ready, because I'm about to talk about some games that are spookier than when you find out your SD card is corrupted and you lost all your save states. Monster Party is one of the weirdest, most Halloween-appropriate games on the NES. You're a normal kid with a normal baseball bat who gets sucked into a monster world, and suddenly you're fighting weird stuff like a giant fried shrimp or a cat that hurls kittens at you. It starts off goofy, and then suddenly the walls are bleeding and the game looks like a nightmare VHS tape. Perfect spooky October vibes here. Silly, creepy, and just gross enough to make you mildly uncomfortable, like wearing a costume that doesn't fit right. The game is fun to play too. Swinging that bat and reflecting projectiles feels great, but what really makes this game stand out is how it leans into the tonal whiplash. The first level feels kind of colorful and lighthearted, and then the next moment you're standing in front of a rotting tree oozing blood. For a kid-friendly console like the NES, that is pretty crazy stuff. It feels like the developers were secretly horror movie fans trying to sneak in some questionable content past Nintendo's Watch Dogs. And no matter how many times you play it, it always feels kind of slightly wrong in exactly the right way. Like biting into candy corn and realizing that, yeah, you kind of like it. Sir Daniel Fortesque, the bumbling skeleton knight, is basically the PS1 Halloween mascot. Medieval takes you through graveyards and pumpkin patches and haunted castles, hacking down zombies and demons. The gameplay is a little clunky, and it did improve a lot in the later versions, but the PS1 version has got that retro charm and also spooky Halloween charm. It's a double whammy. The gothic visuals and hammy voice acting and orchestral soundtrack put me right in the spooky season mood. It feels like playing through a Tim Burton movie that got hijacked by Monty Python. What makes it fun today is that it doesn't take itself too seriously. Yeah, you're battling demons and trying to save the kingdom, but half the time you're laughing at Sir Dan fumbling his way through it. It's like in this story, the protagonist is the comic relief, which feels right here. The levels have a ton of variety. You got eerie graveyards and giant pumpkin bosses. I mean, just look at what you're seeing. This looks like Halloween to me. Definitely worth a play any time of the year, but even better for a Halloween gaming marathon. Gabriel Knight, Sins of the Fathers is a gothic point-and-click adventure just oozing with creepy tenseness. You are Gabriel Knight, New Orleans bookstore owner and aspiring novelist investigating a series of so-called voodoo murders, which takes you through cemeteries, jazz clubs, and creepy back alleys. The story is smart and moody, with writing that makes you feel like you're inside a B-list horror novel. Playing this in October feels like curling up with a scary paperback while a thunderstorm rattles your windows. Less jump scares, more just kind of a slow burn mystery. But this game isn't good just for the puzzles. The story is genuinely great. Gabriel is flawed and charming in equal measure, and the story unfolds as you meet museum curators, professors, and secretive societies, and uncover a web of occult secrets that feels ripped from a thriller novel. That sense of immersion is what makes it so good for Halloween. It's for those nights where you want your retro horror to feel more like a good book, like a candlelit mystery with inventory management. Nightmare in the Dark is a spooky arcade platformer that feels like Bubble Bobble, but like a spooky dead Bubble Bobble. You are a hooded gravedigger running around a graveyard, setting enemies on fire and rolling them into fireballs to blast their friends. The monster lineup is classic Halloween. You got your zombies and ghosts and goblins, and the graphics pop with chunky cartoonish charm. The action is fun as heck arcadey style. Fast and chaotic with bouncing fireballs turning every level into graveyard pinball. A great game to pop on for a few rounds with an overflowing candy bowl beside you. What's fun is how accessible it is. You just run and torch and hurl burning baddies around the screen until you clear the stage. That simplicity is what makes it addictive. The kind of game that you pick up for 5 minutes and then suddenly realize an hour's gone by. This might not be as famous as lots of the other popular Neo Geo games, but it does deserve a spot in any Halloween lineup. Think of it as like the video game equivalent of a Halloween themed kids party. Chaotic and silly, but completely in the spirit of the season. This had to be on one of my Halloween lists eventually. Maniac Mansion. Maniac Mansion is like an 8-bit version of a haunted house attraction and a genuinely good adventure game to boot. You pick a team of teens and you wander through rooms full of mad scientists and tentacle monsters and puzzles. Lots of puzzles. The humor is campy and the house is full of weird secrets, and even though it's not terrifying by any means, the atmosphere is perfect for Halloween. The NES version is actually toned down compared to the PC version. I've never played the PC version, but I've heard that there's like edits to the language and suggestive content, and even infamous gags changed between revisions, the hamster incident amongst them. But it still has plenty of that offbeat charm. It feels like watching an old horror comedy from the 90s in your mom's basement with the lights out. Depending on which characters you choose, the puzzles have different solutions and the ending changes. That kind of freedom was rare back then, and it gives the game a replayability that makes it perfect for revisiting each Halloween. Like a low-budget haunted house movie where everyone's just pretending to be scared, but you can tell they're having fun. As licensed games go, Nightmare Before Christmas on the GBA is a bit of a hidden gem. You got Jack Skellington starring in a light Metroidvania prequel to the movie, which is a Halloween movie, not a Christmas movie. And no, I won't listen to any arguments to the contrary. You explore spooky stages and unlock new abilities and fight Halloween town creeps with really nice pixel art moody backgrounds and plenty of pumpkins and crap like that. It's not a difficult game, but it's a cozy, easy breezy Halloween experience. Like a pumpkin spice latte that you can play with. I mean, I play with all my food and drinks, but people don't look at you weird when you play this one. What makes it fun is how faithful it feels to the movie's spirit, even on tiny GBA hardware. Jack isn't yet the Pumpkin King that we know, so there's a kind of a sense of progression as you earn new skills and start to really own the spooky vibe. Like most of the games on this list, it is a great reminder that the spooky season isn't all about fear. Sometimes it's about skeletons that just want to dance their bones off. Night Slashers is like the opposite of a scary game. This one, you take the fight to the spooks and suplex vampires and uppercut zombies and punch werewolves in the face. Pure campy horror action with buckets of gore and monsters everywhere. Think like Streets of Rage with neon blood and a cast of classic monsters. It's best with 2 players, so you should find a buddy who wants to wear costumes and play this with you as you clear the streets of undead scum together. This is the perfect game to play if your idea of October fun is wrestling Dracula into submission. What makes it stand out is just how kind of dumb fun it is. This game knows how ridiculous it is. Other beat 'em ups try to throw street punks at you and pretend to be serious, but Night Slashers gives you Frankensteins to beat up. The bosses are ridiculous. It feels like it was designed by an 11-year-old who's obsessed with classic horror monster movies. It's not subtle, but Halloween isn't supposed to be subtle. If you want a game that embraces the goofy, gory fun of the season, this is that. Okay, deep breath, TechDweeb. Don't mention the boobs. Come on, you got this. Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, is a DOS point-and-click adventure. Sort of like a first-person dungeon crawler with adventure game puzzling, grisly deaths, and a haunted castle to explore. You brew spells, whack monsters in tight corridors, and hunt keys like a part-time magpie. The tone is peak Halloween camp, equal parts gnarly and giggly because your host is Elvira. Do you guys remember Elvira? I sure do. Young TechDweeb loved Elvira, and she's great here. I could just stare all day long at how spooky she is. What makes this a great October pick is the mood. Creaking halls and hidden rooms and nasty game over screens and that cozy late night horror host vibe. Typical of DOS point and click adventure games, you're going to be juggling your inventory, and there's also survival mechanics and spell crafting. The combat is scrappy and the puzzles are just opaque enough to kind of feel clever. And while most of the graphics are kind of cartoon, Elvira's graphics are very realistic. It blends cheeky humor with really great boobs. I mean, spooky charm. Really great spooky charm. Let's stop talking about this game. On these list of games, I try to stick with PS1 era and below, because then most people will be able to play them on any retro doodad that they have, but I kind of needed to have Luigi's Mansion in one of these videos. This is a compact haunted house adventure starring the world's most anxious plumber. Luigi creeps through a creepy mansion with the Poltergust 3000. Stunning ghosts with a flashlight and then vacuuming them up. The mansion is the real star of the game. Sorry, Luigi. Every room is a puzzle. You got spirits hiding in the paintings, boos lurk in the furniture, and elemental metals add fire, water, and ice as solutions to some simple but clever puzzles. The mood is perfect for a spooky haunted house. Thunder outside, the chandeliers rattling, Luigi nervously humming to himself. This isn't some 40-hour epic, more like a cozy haunted hayride that you can clear in a couple sessions. Avenging Spirit on the Game Boy isn't a Halloween game, but it's about a ghost, and that's reason enough to play it on Halloween. This Game Boy hidden gem has you playing as a spooky ghost, possessing enemies to use their powers. Gangsters, ninjas, robots. If you can jump into it, you can fight with it. The story is surprisingly heavy for a Game Boy game. You're literally a murdered guy avenging your death and trying to free your kidnapped, non-dead girlfriend. The spooky black and white graphics and moody chiptunes actually do sort of give it a Halloween feel. The game is really cool too. Possessing enemies makes every run different, so it's fun to experiment. You're encouraged to try new hosts and discover new ways to tackle levels, which gives it a level of variety that most Game Boy platformers don't have. The narrative hook also makes it memorable. You're not just jumping on enemies, you're living through them. Well, not living, but you know what I mean. Alright, my little goblins, that's what I have for you today. 10 spooky games for October. So light up a candle and crank up a spooky Halloween sound effects ambience YouTube video and try a few of these spooky retro picks on whatever doodad you got lying around. If you want more deliciously dweeby fear, check out my past Halloween game videos. They're packed with hidden gems and monsters and pumpkins and a few jokes that my mom said were funny. There's some links to those below, and I'd love to hear from you. Tell me your favorite spooky retro games to play on Halloween down in the comments so I can steal your ideas for next year. And if you enjoyed this haunted trip through spooky pixels and mournful chiptunes, then give the video a like with your bony skeleton finger and subscribe so the algorithm spirits may rise from their graves. And also, boo! Oh man, I totally scared you that time. Yeah, I did.